John chapter 17 verse 5 is yet another passage many Trinitarians love to use to defend the Trinity doctrine. And they also use this passage to defend their idea that Jesus, or Yeshua, existed as the God before creation. According to John chapter 17 verse 5, Yeshua says, "Now, Father, glorify me with your own self, with the glory which I had with you before the world existed." The first key word we're going to address here in this passage is the word world. It is understandable to assume that world can be world as in creation or earth as mentioned in Genesis chapter 1 verse 1. And this is what Trinitarians believe. But the thing is, Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 states, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth." And it does not say, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the world." Now, if Genesis 1:1 did say world, then that would be a whole different story. And this is why it is important to look at context. Now, when you look at the Greek text on John chapter 17 verse 5 regarding the word world, what is translated are the words system or world order instead of the word world. These words give a different meaning to this passage. There are many passages that use the word world, and it does not necessarily mean creation or earth. World can have different meanings. So if we say the world of sports, or the world of fighting, or the world of politics, you see the word world can have different meanings other than in reference to earth or creation. So what if in John 17:5 the word world actually means church world, or world system, or world order, or something in this field? Let's look at some passages to put this into a better perspective. John chapter 17 verse 14 says, "I have given them your word. The world hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world." Now, if we use earth or creation in place of world in John 17:4, then it reads like this: "The earth hated them, because they are not of the earth, even as I am not of the earth." Let's use the word creation instead. "Creation hated them, because they are not of creation, even as I am not of the creation." As we can see, using the words earth or creation does not make sense, as we are clearly from this earth and are part of creation. But what if we use the word system, for example, in place of the word world? Let's take a look. "The system hated them, because they are not of the system, even as I am not of the system." We can use other words or phrases such as church system, or world order, or something else in this field, and it would make more sense. A question I have is, did the Trinitarian Church choose the word world to allow people to think a certain way regarding John chapter 17 verse 5? We can only speculate, but it is clear that the word world in this passage is not referencing the beginning of earth or creation. And speaking of beginning, I do have a video on John 1:1 that covers the word beginning, and I will link that video in the comments section and in the description. But let's look at one more passage to clarify the point being made here on the word world. 2 John chapter 1 verse 7. "For many deceivers have gone out into the world, those who do not confess the coming of the Messiah in the flesh. Such a one is the deceiver and the Antichrist." This passage is clearly not implying these deceivers came into the world or the earth from outer space, but referring to the world as the church system or world order, etc. Now that we have addressed the word world and have a better understanding of it, now let's look at the fact that Yeshua is asking for God's glory. And let's dissect what is actually being said. Yeshua is asking for God's glory in John chapter 17 verse 5. And let's read it again. And it states, "Glorify me with your own self, with the glory which I had with you before the world existed." Many Trinitarians take this passage to say that Yeshua had glory in heaven as the one and only God. And Yeshua is asking for his glory back as the one and only God because he gave up his glory to become a man. Let's challenge this idea. Let's read 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 17 to 18 that clearly explains when Yeshua received his glory. And it reads, "For he received from God the Father honor and glory when the voice came to him from the majestic glory, saying, 'This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased.' We heard this voice come out of heaven when we were with him on the holy mountain." This passage clearly states that Yeshua received his glory during the Transfiguration chapter mentioned in Matthew chapter 17 and Mark chapter 9 verses 2 to 13. And this occurred on a high mountain when Moses and Elijah apparently appeared to Yeshua and the 12 disciples when God's voice from the heavens said, "This is my Son, whom I am well pleased." This moment can be found towards the end of Yeshua's mission. Now that we know when the glory occurred, the next question is, why does Yeshua say in John 17, "Glorify me before the world was"? We've covered what the word world means, but let's dive a little deeper to further grasp this part. Now, there are 2 times in the Bible when God tells Yeshua, "This is my Son, who I am well pleased." The first time when the Creator says, "This is my Son, whom I am well pleased," was at the baptism of Yeshua, according to our Gospels, when John the Baptist, the cousin of Yeshua, baptized him. This can be found in Matthew chapter 17, verse 5, which states, "While he was still speaking, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them. Behold, a voice came out of the cloud, saying, 'This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased with. Listen to him.'" At this baptism, we can say that this was the start of the quote-unquote world, or the quote-unquote mission of Yeshua, or the church of Yeshua. Perhaps we can also say it's the start of a new quote-unquote world system, or the church system, as we previously discussed. We can say that Yeshua's quote-unquote first glory was at his baptism. But during Yeshua's mission, trials, tests, temptations, tribulations, he asked for his glory during the end of his mission, prior to his persecution. We need to understand that Yeshua was a man. He had the same inner feelings and thoughts that we have. He most likely had moments of loneliness, sadness, stress, perhaps fear, to name a few. Yeshua even says to the Creator in Matthew chapter 27, verse 46, "Father, why have you forsaken me?" Perhaps Yeshua felt as if he lost his original glory, that glory that he felt he had at his baptism. And that is why in John chapter 17, verse 5, it appears as he's asking for it back. To conclude and simplify what the point here is, so when Yeshua asked for his glory before the world was, in John chapter 17, verse 5, we can assume that Yeshua was asking for that same glory that he had at his baptism when his mission or world began. And he received that same glory later on during the end of his mission on the high mountain with the 12 disciples, as stated in 2 Peter chapter 1, verses 17 to 18, which again states, "For he received from God the Father honor and glory when the voice came to him from the majestic glory, saying, 'This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased.'" We heard this voice come out of heaven when we were with him on the holy mountain. One final point to address regarding John chapter 17, verse 5. Many Trinitarians say that Yeshua is God because he is getting God's glory, quote unquote, back. But if we read further down this passage, Yeshua is clearly asking the Father to also give glory to the 12 disciples. John chapter 17, verses 21 to 22 states, and Yeshua says, "That they may all be one, even as you, Father, are in me, and I in you, that they may also be one in us, that the world may believe that you sent me. The glory which you have given me, I have given to them, that they may be one, even as we are one. Again, the glory which you have given me, I have given to them, that they may be one, even as we are one." So my question to the Trinitarians, since the 12 disciples can attain God's glory, does this mean that the 12 disciples are all one God as well? According to the Trinitarian logic, the 12 might as well be added to the Trinity. There is yet one important thing to address, and this is regarding the word glory. This is yet another situation where we should take this with careful consideration. As stated earlier with the word world, is the word glory also yet another word that has been selected by the early Trinitarian Church to persuade our views in a specific direction? The problem with the word glory is that the scripture is clear that God, our Creator, does not give his glory to anyone. Isaiah chapter 42 verse 8 says, I am Yahweh, that is my name. I will not give my glory to another, nor my praise to engraved images. Again, he says, I will not give my glory to another. This is a passage that cannot be ignored or brushed off. If we accept that the Creator gave his glory to others when it is clear that the Creator says that he does not give his glory to others, this is a clear contradiction. Our Creator is not the author of confusion, and this is due for questioning. To avoid contradictions, let's further investigate John chapter 17 verse 5 by looking at the Greek word regarding glory. From my research, the word esteem or honor can also be applied in place of glory. So perhaps we can err on the side of caution here and use the word honor over glory. And in my opinion, it would be safe to do so. So John chapter 17 verse 5 would read, Now Father, honor me with your own self, with the honor which I had with you before the world existed. With all this to say, and as we point out many times in previous points made, there is only one God to be worshipped. The same God that Yeshua worshipped and prayed to is the same God we worship and pray to, and that is God our Creator, our Father, our only parent in heaven. Let's wrap this up with John chapter 5 verse 30. And Yeshua says, I can of myself do nothing. As I hear, I judge, and my judgment is righteous, because I don't seek my own will, but the will of my Father who sent me.